project is out of this world. We're going to be creating galaxy paper. We have 3 goals that we want to try to accomplish today. The first goal is to use ink methods to create a Suminugashi styled marbled paper. Suminugashi is a Japanese art of paper marbling with different colors and ink. Our goal number 2, we're going to repeat this and repeat multiple patterns and see unique designs of each piece. So we're going to be making several art pieces. Goal number 3, we're going to reflect by comparing and contrasting a variety of art pieces to make meaning in what we make. This is your art kit, or all the things that you will need to complete today's project. We recommend putting a plastic tablecloth down on your work surface just to protect it and to contain any mess that may be. You will also need a plastic container, which we will fill with some water, some plastic gloves to protect your hands from any ink, some art paper such as multimedia paper, a napkin or paper towel, either a paintbrush or an eyedropper. You will need some different color inks such as alcohol inks, Suminugashi inks, or watercolor sometimes works, some stars or glitter, marbles, and for preschoolers, we will provide a popsicle stick. You can also use the end of your paintbrush and some shaving cream. You will also need an art plan that contains directions and extended learning for today's project. Outer space, it's so inspiring. It contains so many patterns and colors and swirls and twirls. NASA has been photographing it for quite a while. Artists are inspired by the sky, such as Van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh painted this. It's called Starry Night. Do you see any similar patterns like the ones from outer space? Why did Vincent van Gogh create these patterns? How would the painting change if instead of swirls, he painted lines in the sky straight across? Vincent van Gogh made these swirls and twirls on purpose. And you can see these patterns in the natural world and in many artworks. The swirling and twirling is what we're going to be focusing on to make our Suminugashi marbled paper today. Okay, so I have all my stuff set up and I have a tablecloth underneath because it will stain, it could stain, and just to keep everything clean, and my gloves, and I just have my whole little art station set up here. So I have my container of water and I filled it about 1/4 of the way up. And here's some examples here of what the finished product looks like. This setup is for beginner or preschoolers, and the only difference is you might use some shaving cream and a stick. And so down here I have my inks. You can use Sumi ink, alcohol inks, sometimes watercolors work, but these are my inks. And so beginning, this is very inspiring, marbles. If anybody's ever played with a marble before, if you look inside of a marble or on the outside of it, it has all of these colors and swirls. These swirly designs, like I said, are on the outside or the inside. So I don't know if you can see, with my marble, they swirl through the inside on this guy. All different colors. This one's a little different. This one's just got some white swirls on the inside. And it almost looks like something you would see in a galaxy, like outer space. Imagine this little marble is a planet, okay? Or a galaxy of your own. What kinds of creatures or life can you imagine? What would you call it? So I have my bucket here. A quarter of the way through. Filled up. What we're gonna do is you can take either a paint dropper or a paintbrush, and you're gonna put those in the ink and you're gonna drop the ink on top of the water, okay? So maybe I'll try one of each to show you how that works. So the squeezer, you'll just squeeze the end, suck up some of this ink, and you're gonna drip drop it on the top. And you're gonna see the ink kind of floats up at the top and spreads real gently on the top. Okay, this way, you would gently let it drip onto the top here. And more advanced levels could take the end of a stick, popsicle stick, and they can make some swirls, just like the inside of that marble. Okay, you can see it swirling and whirling in there. I think a little bit more of this. Oh no. I'm gonna take the end of my paper, face down on top of the water, don't submerge it all the way down, and we flip it, and you'll see what was on top of the water is gonna be here. Now we wanna lay it flat on a paper towel to let it dry. All right, and I'm gonna do it again. I can either clear my container out and start with fresh water, or I can just add. And we're gonna drop this along here. I'm gonna take some of this. You can see the floating colors. I'm gonna go real gently and slowly create some swirls, and then I'm gonna take another sheet of paper, put it right on top of there, and I'm gonna place it to dry. Now, you might see a little curling of the paper because when it's wet it curls, but you let it dry, and then when it's completely dry you can put a book or something heavy on top of it, and that'll make it flat. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat this several times because as you notice, every single one is different. It's like a fingerprint. Every single marbled paper will be a little different. No two will ever be the same. They're all unique. You can't repeat the same exact. Let's see what that looks like. There's no mistakes. It's just testing and trying. Oh, look at that one. And there's some drips of my other paper. That's fine. Sometimes that bothers people. That doesn't bother me. I think I might do one more. I want to do a whole bunch of purple. Look, look. Upside down, pull it up. Galactic. Okay. Now, for the beginner level or preschoolers, what we're going to use is we're going to use shaving cream. Shaving cream will still create the swirls, but it's a little easier to control than the water. The original artists that made this kind of artwork were artistic masters. They were like geniuses of their art. And the water is kind of hard to control because it just keeps going and being fluid all over the place. But this is a little easier to control. So we're gonna fill up this bucket. I've switched out my water bucket for the shaving cream bucket. And I'm gonna take my stick and just I wanna kinda even on the bottom. It's almost like I'm making a pie here. Okay. Cover the bottom up. Okay. So now I can still use the squeezer or the paintbrush. And I'm gonna drip some on top. Bloop, 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 bloop. I like to make sound effects. Or paintbrush. Drip it. Be careful, it doesn't fly all over the place. And tap it, okay? And you're gonna take your popsicle stick and you're gonna cut through the colors like this. You can swirl it around a little bit. Like so. Don't go too crazy wild, even though it's tempting because all those colors will just mix into one solid color. We wanted to keep these swirls. So by going a little slower, being patient, okay? Oh, I have one sheet of paper down here. So, same thing as before. No two are gonna be the same, they're all different. This one has a little ink, that's fine. We're gonna press it down onto here. Gonna pull it up. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna like squeegee it across. And voila, you'll see some of these, oops, these swirly patterns in here. Now, I'd like some of mine covered a little more, some of my white covered a little more, so I'm gonna try again, which is okay. I want more colors. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I'll take my paper, face down. Don't smash it all the way down, just a little tap, tap, tap. Pull it up, and we're gonna squeegee. Wow, is that beautiful? And you'll see all the swirls and whirls. Now, once this is all dry and I've pressed it, I put a book on top of it to make it kind of flat. We can add some finishing touches that are really pretty. So what I have here, you can either use some star stickers or some gold glitter to kind of add another layer of some iridescent, like shining stars or galaxy stuff. So what I did was, these I got at the craft store and they're not sticky. Some of them sometimes come sticky. So I just have a, you can either use a little glue stick or you can use a little bit of some clear glue. And so I'm just gonna add these on. These ones are cool because they're all different sizes. I like the variation. Put those in there. There's a really teeny tiny one that's really pretty. Can be made into some different options. Use your galaxy paper too. Frame it just as it is. Make it into a frame. Make a greeting card. Bind the pages into a book. Or make it into some writing paper or wrapping paper. There's so much you can do with this. Looking at what you've made today, compare it to Van Gogh's Starry Night. How are they similar? How are your artwork and Van Gogh's artwork similar? How are they different? How are all the pieces that you made today similar and different? We'd like to see. Please share your artwork either on our Facebook page or email gina@wearecreativegeniuses.com. We hope you had a great time today. Stay tuned for more really fun and educational projects.